So before we start off, how was everybody's week? Shauna.
Oh, I'll start. Yeah. You know what? It's been a pretty good week. I was sick a couple weeks before that, and finally I'm better, so it was good. And today was crazy because I saw a fox running in the schoolyard of my daughter's school. So that was the end of my day today. It was really weird, but
Crazy.
good. Yes.
Martina?
It was good. It was good. I have my tree up. We're doing a micro tree this year. I decided to go with tiny, even though I don't live in a tiny house. But yeah, everything's good. Getting ready for Christmas.
Sweet. Samia.
Yeah, it was good. I had COVID last week. I'm much better now. So yeah, glad. Also, Shauna, I saw a fox today too. It crossed my path.
No way.
It was weird. I had a street last night. I'm like, what?
It was
So we
scary.
got last night. Three foxes so far. Courtney, how was your week?
My week's really good, except I don't want to tell Martina, but we don't have our tree up yet. I'm slacking. I know. I'm sorry, but it's on the list for this weekend. So I'm sorry.
I don't have mine either, Courtney.
Me neither.
I know. I'm really behind.
Who are you people? I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, Samia looks really upset that you guys don't have your trees out.
Veronica, how was your week?
My week was good, busy. I'm super, super happy to be here with you ladies today. So thank you.
Sweet.
It's been a while, Veronica.
It's been a minute, I know.
A hot minute.
Awesome to see you, V. So good.
Yes.
Thank you.
So since some of us or most of us have been getting over the cold and the flu and COVID, what are some of your favorite food remedies that worked for you in the past, or like a recipe that's been handed down from like grandparents that you find really helps you?
Can I kick this off? Because yesterday, obviously before bed, we all scroll through Instagram, TikTok, right? Mindlessly scrolling. And I got stuck. I went down the rabbit hole on this one post where this lady tried putting potato slices in her children's socks. They were sick. And the next morning, children were fine. And she pulled out the potato slice, and it was all like, it looked like it was moldy, like kind of been sitting in the sun for like weeks. And so I don't know the exact science behind it. I've never done this, but I'm going to try this. Essentially, it takes all the toxins out of your body. So it's not something that I've done to cure myself, but it is something that I'm going to do the next time. And I'll let you all know if it works.
I know. I've seen that with the onion slices. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, put it on your feet and put socks on and put them to bed. And I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
Yeah, I've heard of onions. Yeah. Like people put it by their bed, and like it's supposed to heal you.
Or just walk on it. Okay.
For me, I don't really have. I guess like I grew up with sorrel, which is a Caribbean drink. It's like hibiscus flower. I put ginger in it, turmeric, all types of good stuff, cloves, cinnamon. And that seems to always help, like definitely. And if I'm too lazy to do that, I'll just do lemon, ginger, and honey, and like boil that. So, and that seems to help me.
I want to try that sorrel. I know sorrel as far as you put the rum in it and you call it a day, but I'm gonna try the other stuff now.
No, I don't put alcohol. I mean, you can, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, kind of along the lines of what you just said, I didn't know it had a name, but my grandma, rest in peace, we did that my whole life. Like pretty much everything you just said, I didn't know it had a name. Hot tea and lemon, some rum, like because it'll clean you out. And also with the clove, I don't know if they have it in Canada, but if you go on Amazon, there is a brand called Plant Therapy, and they have an essential oil called Germ Fighter oil. If you put that bad boy in your diffuser, you are going to stop coughing. Like that stuff is amazing. I actually mix it with some oil, and I will put it on my body or on my chest if you have a cough. That stuff is magical. Like it's one of the rare essential oil blends that I've used that it really does do exactly what they say it's supposed to do. It's basically clove and cinnamon oil, and those are very potent germ fighter oils in the diffuser, and you're good to go.
Ooh,
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Well, speaking of oils, I use oil of oregano, and I use that thing like crazy with the dropper, and I'm just doing it like all the time.
Mhm.
And also grapefruit seed okay, it's a tongue twister. I'm sorry. Grapefruit seed abstract, I guess it's called.
Extract?
Extract.
Extract.
Oh my god.
That is a tongue twister.
That
though.
is, that is a tongue
Yeah.
twister.
And I find that's really good too. I find the oil of oregano is better though. I always use that and I live by it. And also to apple cider vinegar. I try to put that in my water, a couple teaspoons every day, just to kind of stay good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We're a huge essential oil house. Like we have diffusers going all the time. I don't use that brand, Martina. I use a different one, but same concept, has the clove, has everything. And then same, the oil of oregano. And I like grew up on that stuff, but I grew up on like the health food brands. So you could put a whole bunch in a shot. Whereas what I have now is so strong. And I tell people, I'm like, one drop. That's all you need. If you get one more than a drop, you're going to be burning and crying and it's miserable. So one drop is all you need. But like you can feel it just like down your throat, and it works wonders for sure. That's we use it in our house so much.
I feel like I had that same big strong one where you put like one drop and it's like it's borderline burning. But then I was like, oh, let me try this. I'm like, let me put my 20 shots in my shot glass of water, and I'm like, and like 3 days I'm burping oregano oil. I'm like, nah, I gotta switch to capsules because it's just like I can't handle this burn. Handle the burn.
Yeah, and the echinaceas are good too. I take that every day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
And speaking of putting stuff on your feet, I do like the whole Vicks Vapor Rub, but I put it on my feet and it goes like right to your bloodstream and it makes your whole body kind of warm up. And I also put that stuff all over my face. Like I look at this like shiny thing. Like I'm just like, this hurts.
Not burn?
Put it here. This here. Okay.
You know,
Like
It's like
I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I feel like Vicks is not as strong as it was when we were kids.
no.
I don't know if y'all have noticed
Not at
that.
all.
Like
Not
when
at
I
all.
had
No, it's
COVID about this time last year, I was like, this isn't hitting like it used to hit. Like it used to be, you know, you could feel it, like it was like going through your spirit. That menthol was so strong. But now even my 5-year-old is like, Mommy, I don't think this is working. And I'm like, it's not. What is it? They
It's
like
probably not legal back
Yeah,
then.
right.
It probably didn't pass a whole lot of tests that it should have.
that's probably it.
That's probably. I also found the same. I don't know if you guys use Tiger Balm. Because if I can't get my hands on the Vicks, I'll pull up the Tiger Balm. And then I didn't even realize they have like a red version and a white version. Because I've always had the red, and the red is stronger than the white. And then I got a white one. I'm like, is this spoiled? Like, was it so long on the shelf that the color just disappeared?
It used to be red. Now it's white.
it used to be red.
I know, but no, there's a red and a white version. I'm like, oh yeah. Because I remember it used to be hitting stronger, especially when you have like the muscle aches and you put that on there, and then like that menthol, it's like it's so good. Okay, so do you guys believe the myth that cold weather and wet hair is what makes us sick? So you remember being like, don't go outside without your jacket, you're gonna get sick. You better dry your hair and don't go to bed with wet hair because you're gonna get sick. Do you guys still believe that myth? Do you think there's some kind of science behind it?
I don't know actually.
I naturally don't think it's a good idea to go out with wet hair.
Yeah.
Just in cold weather. Just I don't know. I feel like my hair is gonna turn into icicles. I don't know. But I don't really think scientifically there's any studies that show that it makes you sick. I think just I don't know. I don't know if it really makes you sick by doing that.
See, that's what I thought too. But it's like every time it gets really cold, my nose and my throat get super, super dry. And then I get that stupid tickle in the throat. And then a day later, I'm full blown sick. And I'm always just like, there's got to be something to this. Like your membrane's just drying out and it's like allowing more bacteria or dirt or if it just get back in or get into your system. And then it's always like, okay, now I'm sick. Because and it's just like, everybody tells me like, no, you can't be cold and then get sick. But like, I don't know though, because it dries out my nose really bad. My throat gets really dry. And then all of a sudden it's like a floof one in and then that's it.
The thing is, like, germs survive in the cold, right? So whereas in the heat, it doesn't as much. So germs are everywhere. So it could have just been that you were in the rain, or maybe you did go out with wet hair, and you just passed the one who was full of germs.
Yeah.
And
I feel like
jumped on you.
I feel like I do it all the time, but I also feel like maybe there is some science that like your body's being kind of shocked, right? Like if your body's busy fighting, like keeping you warm because you're silly and now you're even colder, then maybe your immune system's down. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. I'm not a scientist.
Y'all look, Joe got jokes. Look at the bottom. Look at the bottom of the screen. Well, I ain't got a full-blown disclaimer.
Oh, yeah.
The views expressed in the shot. Like a fine print, the terms and
Not a
conditions.
scientist, but
Well, your head
This is
like
not medical advice.
coldest place that you
Yeah.
like when you're out in the cold, your head is the first place that gets cold. Like if you're not wearing a hat, your head is going to be the place, right?
So you
So
do lose 80% of your body heat through your head. I don't know if that's a real stat, but my dad beat that into my head as a kid, like without like, you gotta wear a hat. You lose 80% of the heat, your body heat through your head. I have no idea if that's true or not. I've never fact checked it, but I heard it so much as a kid that I'm like, we're just gonna go with it. I've just never fact checked.
And I'm like, I know, because I'll see people wearing like the tiniest jacket in negative weather, but they have a hat on. I'm like, oh no, I'm cool, I'm fine. And then you see somebody with like the biggest winter jacket and no hat, and they're like freezing, and I'm like, maybe there's something behind that statement. Maybe.
That's like, have you seen the memes that it's like, it's almost why don't they have anything on that baby's head weather? Like you ever see a little kid and you're like, why don't they have a hat on that baby's head?
All the
I've
time.
never heard that. I like
it's
it.
true.
It is. I seen somebody walking around with a baby, and it was, I believe it was Sunday or Saturday, whatever windy day it was, and it's just a little baby in a onesie, and then the wind's blowing in her face and her hair, and she's just like, and I just kept thinking, where is this baby's whole ass out of attire? Where's the jacket? Where's the scarf? Where's that? Where's that?
Put a coat on that child.
Baby's just shivering, looking at me, and be like, "Save me!" And I'm like, "Oh my lord."
Yeah. Well, they say not to go to sleep with your hair wet too, right? Which kind of makes sense. I feel like the water like seeps into your like pores of your head and then like gives you a headache or something. That's how I would explain it.
But I'm also like, isn't it super uncomfortable to sleep with like wet hair? Then your pillow gets wet, then your clothes gets wet, and then everything's just wet.
Yeah, it's not very like pleasing, really.
Sounds like a great place for bacteria to grow. Light heat, moisture, pillowcase, the bacteria is like, wee.
Maybe that's the whole thing about don't go to bed with wet hair because you're gonna have a whole village of bacteria. Just there.
I was picturing the bacteria with the way you're explaining it.
the weed.
Yeah,
got me
good.
too.
That's good description.
It was. Did you guys ever watch that Simpsons episode? I think it was Lisa put her little tooth in the petri dish, and then it got electrocuted, and all of a sudden it was like a
It's
whole
like a
village of
Oh
bacteria. Yeah, and then she was their god, and she was just like, "What the hell? Their civilization, they're building." Every time she mentions bacteria, I think back to that Simpsons episode. I'm just like, "This is what they're doing. They're living."
Simpsons is very educational,
Right? They're just like, "Oh my god, this is how
and they
they
predict
grow."
the future.
Right, and every time you think it's like the furry stuff, and it's like, no, that's just their forests. But do you guys think stress also contributes to getting sick? Like being super stressed out, and all of a sudden, like, yo, you're full blown sick. And like, why?
Definitely. Stress wears down your immune system. Absolutely. So, not getting enough sleep. The more baseline worn out you are, like if you're already tired and sleep deprived, because chances are, it's kind of a snowball effect, right? Because chances are, if you're stressed out and not getting enough sleep, you're probably not eating right, probably not getting right nutrients and exercise and stuff. These things tend to compound. And the germs and bacteria are like, ooh. COVID's like, yes, this looks good.
I mean, that's the reason I got sick, because like I haven't been sleeping. I don't get that much sleep from work, and then work is stressful, and then it's just there's a lot going on, and then my immune system has just been down, and then I got COVID, and it was like, hello, like it was just decided to enter my body or something.
It's like sliding in. It's like sliding in those
DMs.
body DMs.
Multiply.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have any de-stressing techniques when like you feel like you're like in the peak of getting stressed? And like, if I don't calm down or slow down, I get sick. So what can I do to like give myself some defense?
I think this may sound too easy of an answer, right? But I think if we all mentally, and hey, if it works for you physically, sometimes I physically take a step back also. Take a step back and realize, excuse me, this isn't the end of the world. So with me in real estate or design, like if something doesn't happen, if we don't get that home, it's not the end of the world. Like you think about it, like we're pretty privileged. Like I hate to say it, but I also love to say it. Most of my problems, knock on wood, are first world problems. They're very important to me, But we look at Iran right now. We look at Ukraine. We look at the States. We look at up north in Ontario where First Nations don't have running water. Right? So the fact that me and my clients may not have gotten that home that we really wanted, that we paid 6 figures for, relax. So I think trying to really step outside of the situation and taking a step back and be like, okay, let's fix this. So I think physically I sometimes take a step back and I'm like, okay, let's do this again. Then I get pumped and solve the problem and we're good. And I'm like, oh damn, why was I stressing about that?
That's very
Definitely.
That's well said. I agree with you to take a step back and put things in perspective. That you're absolutely right, because I don't know about you ladies, but I feel like you said, Veronica, a lot of the times the stress I'm putting on myself is for situations I'm making up in my head. It's not even what's really happening. It's scenarios. I'm like, what if this doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? What it's the what ifs? And you know, like you said, you take a step back and you're like, you know what? The phrase my phrase of like 2022 has been, they're gonna be all right. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Definitely.
They're gonna be all right. They don't get it. We don't get it. It'll get done. We're gonna be all right. We'll be all right.
And you know what's funny is I kind of do, it's kind of the opposite for me. It's like when I get sick, then I get super stressed. It's like, I can't be sick right now. I can't be sick right now. Like I get like really anxious. I'm just like, can this be over? Like, you know, and that can't be good. That can't be helpful. I guess you kind of just have to like let go a little bit and be like, okay, it's going to take its course, and like, you know, trust your body that it's going to fix itself kind of thing. But I tend to get a lot of like sinus infections. That's my thing. Like my sinuses always get messed up. And so what I do is I use a neti pot, and that helps me.
Oh, neti pots are good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just like clean up my nose like every day. And I find that it prevents things. It prevents germs. It makes it, it's warm, it's inviting, it's, you know, and it helps even when you are sick too. So I use those.
I use it a lot for allergies because I have all of the allergies year round. Like
Tough ladies.
From allergies, it's just like neti pot.
I told y'all are tough, because I tried it and I felt like I was waterboarding myself. I
did do it. I'm like, Giselle, keep going because it's supposed to be good for you.
Y'all some thugs.
I want to struggle. My daughter to
not waterboarding. We're not.
That's what it feels like. I'm like, oh, I can't breathe. But I have a fear of water, so that's again the what ifs. When I just say I'm making up stuff in my head, I have a hard time with that.
For me, I think it's a good idea. It is good, Veronica, to step back and just kind of look at things in perspective. I do this by playing video games. Sometimes I find with stresses, and I think we all can relate, is that sometimes in life, whether it's job, people around us, we can get triggered, and that affects our emotional and mental health. And so it's you can take a step back, but sometimes it's just there nagging at you. And so I either have to face it, and that's when I have to take that step back and be like, why is this bothering me? And then that usually does help me, because in the end I go through it and then I'm able to kind of just start to relax. But if I want to take the easy route, I play video games, or I have like this stupid doctor game on my phone, and it like literally turns my brain off. Or I go on TikTok and that turns my brain off, and I'm just like, yep, just scroll. That's all I'm doing for hours. So that helps me. Like,
I like that. It sounds like you're kind of just like not stepping away, because I know you said you don't step away, but it's kind of like you're distracting yourself from that by like you going through TikTok or playing your video games, but then eventually you obviously come back to it and deal with it. So I love that. Maybe I'll do that.
I will say though, I was playing The Last of Us. I don't know if you guys heard of that video game. It's a really popular video game on PlayStation, and I was playing the second one, and it was making me so stressed out. I couldn't play it in that time because I was like, I'm already stressed out. I can't play this and be more stressed out. So
there's certain things in this game where you have anxiety now, and you're like, oh my, and then you're flipping out, and it's like, Giselle, this is just a video game. You turn this off.
Yeah. That's what I did. I was like, I'm done. I just turned it off. I'm going to bed. Like, play my doctor game anyways.
True. It's true.
This is funny because I just thought of this when you were saying your question, being like, just to like you think about it. do you guys think there's still such a thing as self-reflection? Because I'm noticing right now when people tell me, no, you have a friend, they're venting to you and they're arguing, and I'm like, so when are you gonna when you actually look at the situation and then try to see it from the other person's point of view, and then be like, why did I feel this way? Why am I being angry? Why am I upset about this? And there's like a process of self-reflection where you do go through a period of self-doubt, and then like you're just processing everything. And I feel like there's not enough people doing this anymore, because I don't know why, if it's because it's just not trendy or anything, or if it's just we're watching too much reality TV where it's just like, yeah, let's just fight this out and fight you, and like, I'm a bad bee, I can, like, and it's just like, am I the only one noticing that there's not a lot of people self-reflecting or actually processing these things that happen to them?
You know, I actually think it's happening a lot more now. I think the past generations didn't do that. And I think that's why a lot of our generation, and even Gen Z, if you want to say, are now have so much trauma and like are trying to look back at why they have this trauma. And then when you do look back, you see how your parents were raised, and they weren't self-reflecting. They weren't looking at being accountable. So then that is affecting their children. And I think where the generation and the generation after us are starting to be like, why is this, like, now we're finally looking at it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's happening more now than it did back in the day.
I don't find it. Like, I find people in our generation or older are the ones who are being like, actually, you know what? I went through a lot of trauma. Let me try to deal with this. And I'm finding the young generation now, I'm being like, no, man, you in the wrong. You did this. You did that. And I'm like, and they're telling me a story, and I'm just being like, but you're not seeing where you could have come across a little bit more aggressive than what you think you did. And you're not even trying to be self-reflecting, like, why is there so much anger in the way you respond to conflict? I find a lot of young generations do just kind of skip that whole point.
I think it also comes with age. And as we get older, and, you know, when we're young, of course, we don't look at ourselves. It's like, no, you're the idiot. But I think as we get older and like things are actually starting to play out, from our
so much
childhood
culture.
traumas.
Why are they not doing this?
I have a theory.
Oh, sorry.
It's unpopular, though.
There's so much woke culture. What's happening?
It's unpopular, but I don't know. Maybe it's because, you know, I come from the South. I come from a long line of very tough people, tough men and women and men who lived through segregation. They lived through Jim Crow. They lived through really tough times. And I think that, and again, this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like our society, primarily because of social media, and I get this is kind of hypocritical because we're on social media, right? Like, I don't want to be that person who's like, man, technology sucks, as we use technology. But I think that it has become too sexy to be a victim. Being a victim can get you money. It can get you attention. It can get you attention that you might not get unless you were a victim of some kind, whether that's real or made up. And I think that sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it's not. But that's kind of my theory, that I think that we have made it so that it's easy to have a scapegoat. We're like, oh, that's because of X. That happened to me because of X, rather than maybe it was something I did wrong. Maybe I did play a part in this. It's just easier to point the finger at someone else.
I've never thought of it that way. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, being a victim is too sexy, but that is so true. There's so many stories going around being like, I was a victim of human trafficking, and then you really look back at the footage and all the receipts being like, nah, you just got caught cheating. Like, let's let this go.
Yeah, like, it's just like the generation, it's all poor me stuff, you know, like, poor me.
It's someone else's fault. I played no part in it. There was nothing I could have done differently. Everyone else did something to me, rather than maybe I could have done things differently, you know? And sometimes it's a combination of both, but I feel like it's never maybe I could have done something differently. Like, that part is silent.
There's a lot of ego involved too, right?
I feel like I have such a different experience on this, because I feel the older generation are very much like that, and they don't really want to take accountability. And maybe that's just my experience from it, my perspective, because I look at my daughter and she's 14, and her friends, they're constantly like, when she tells me, they're constantly looking at themselves and being like, did I do something wrong here? Did I say something wrong? And I'm like, for me, from what I'm seeing, I'm like, maybe it's just how we raised her, and maybe how their parents raised them. But I'm seeing the opposite. Like my parents don't take accountability for anything they did, and they think they were perfect. And like even my, friends' parents and things like that. And so, yeah, I see the opposite.
See, I do see it with kids who are like in their teens still. They'll still do something like, oh crap, I messed up. And then it's just like that gap between like 18 or like 20 to like 29. And it's just this whole, what the hell happened to these kids in this generation or this gap? Because it's just like all the woke culture, but none of the responsibilities. And it's just like, how are you just throwing out a hashtag and being like, nah, I'm in crowd? And it's just like, well, you had a whole incident where, and again, I guess it's because I watch a lot of YouTube and all these YouTube posters, influencers, and it's just, they will post the most craziest stories. And I'm like, how is this happening? Like, why is this a thing? Like, it's insane. I'm like, there must not be no self-reflection, holding yourself accountable, actually processing and being like, why am I actually so angry about what somebody said? Like, let me go back and work back through my trauma or something that happened that's triggering me. Like, what's triggering me in this whole conversation?
Yeah.
I think the issue is people are communicating. The way they're communicating is they're communicating to be right rather than to come to a solution. And like, that's really what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to figure it out. And if you disagree, you're supposed to come to a solution. And people just want to be right. They want to be the right one, So it should be about coming to that solution together, I think, right?
Definitely.
And it's also good in theory. So you guys have heard about Shaquilla Robinson, right? 25, found dead in the city of San Jose del Cabo on the October 29th. And she was traveling to a resort with 6 friends. So supposedly how it went, they got there, talked to the Shaquilla talked to her family in the morning of the day of the incident, and then they couldn't get in touch with her. So the parents or her mother was calling friends, like, where is my daughter? Like, why isn't she answering? Why is she answering me? And they said, oh, she's just sleeping. She's sick from alcohol poisoning or food poisoning. To which she said, okay. And then all the friends left. I think it was a couple of days early to go home. And then they find out that she was just left dead in the hotel room. And it's also, this is where I come back saying, like, it's these people from like 20 to 29 where it's just like, it's like something has been lost in that age gap of the generation where there's something in their head not, because it also reminds you of Kanika. I can't remember her last name, where she went to the hotel room with her friends and then she ends up in a fridge that's not even used, in a kitchen that nobody goes to, dead. And then after later, once the friends got home, the video was released of her getting beat up or assaulted in the hotel room. And then later after that, the whole autopsy showed that she died from a spinal cord injury. And we all know when you snap your neck, you don't get medical, you die. So how does that, like, what are your thoughts on all of this?
That case really, to this day, it still bothers me a lot because she was from North Carolina. She was from Charlotte, North Carolina. And the whole state has been in an uproar about it. It's really messed up. It makes me emotional because she was in the beauty industry. And being an esthetician, the girl worked really hard to get her license and start her business. And, that girl didn't deserve to go out like that. I didn't even know the girl, but just it makes me emotional just hearing how people that you trusted, people that you call friends, do you like that. I can't imagine how her family must be feeling. Like, I've seen interviews with them and they're putting on a strong face. But I know they're having a hard time with that. Like, I'm sorry, it's I know it's kind of crazy getting emotional over someone I didn't know, but I have a daughter and I can't imagine, like, if I was the mom and that was my child.
Yeah.
It's just like, I hear you on that, because it's just like you're traveling or you're doing something with people who are supposed to be your friends. And I keep thinking, again, instead of talking out your difference or doing whatever, your whole voice, like, let's set them up.
And then that's what I understand. Like, I had to reread it, I think 3 or 4 times because I didn't, like, I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. Wait, what happened? Like, I had to reread it 4 times before it, like, actually sunk in, because it's so shocking. And then, that's what it said. Like, they set her up. Like, what's going on with people? Like, it makes no sense at all.
It doesn't, and it feels like it's becoming like some kind of popular trend to take a girl or take a friend or a person you don't like out somewhere and just leave them. And I'm just like, why is this getting popular? Like, I feel like there's so much more instance where this has happened where it's just not documented in the news. And like, why?
And the crazy thing about that case is, honestly, if it weren't for social media, we might not even really know about it like that. Because the people were, tagging the FBI on Twitter and Instagram, like, hey, y'all need to investigate this, tagging radio stations. I know I did, tagging the news stations. And like I said earlier, I try not to be hypocritical. That's one of the positives of social media, that it did help to bring light to that case. And I'll be honest, I haven't heard an update. I don't know what the current status is. Does anyone know if anyone has been arrested? Because last I heard, I'm not sure. Oh, they
yes. The main girl who did the fighting, I forget her name now. She's been arrested and has been. That's what I've heard, that she's been sent to Mexico.
In Mexico.
They have to. The trial will be in Mexico. They're being tried in Mexico.
I hope they can get all of them, though. I think they all deserve to go down, because everybody was complicit in that. I hope they don't just hit it on one girl and the rest go loose. Like, no, all y'all need to go down, because that was.
So apparently, one of the people there was Shaquilla's best friend, like a guy, and one of the family friends. So they were the first one that the family called, and he was just like, "Oh no, she just has food poisoning, or she's just sleeping off a hangover, or whatnot." And I could be really wrong about this, but I think, but this is also again social media information being like he was one of the people who was reporting, because there was an actual video of her.
Yeah, his voice.
And I think she was probably already drunk at this point, because she was just getting beat down, and she was just trying to deflect, or just being like, "Oh, I hope." But it was just this whole videos there on social media. I'm just like, and then again, you do this whole crime, and then you put it on social media like that, and then you don't think anything's gonna happen,
right?
The thing is, like, I haven't seen the video, and I don't want to see the video. But I know someone said in the video, like, fight back. And she was like, no. And like, that just shows you the kind of person. It's like, I'm not going to fight you. We're supposed to be friends. Like, I can't even fathom going to another country with my friends. Like, I've traveled with Giselle. I can't even fathom where I'm so protective of and loyal to my friends and family that like, I would be the first in front of my friends to like protect them. So I'm like, how could you go somewhere and like just beat up your friend because of probably a stupid argument? Like, hey, Giselle, you and I have argued on trips. 10 minutes, like half an hour later, we're laughing. So just like, you know what I mean?
But yes. Yeah. But I really think they probably got her drugged. They either drugged her or she was really intoxicated, because I did watch the video and she couldn't even defend herself. And then she did. It was a delayed reaction. And around them, like,
she was naked in that video, which is even more messed up. They're beating up on a naked, obviously somewhat, like you said, drugged or intoxicated girl. And I don't know if this is I can't speak on the validity of this, but I have heard, I don't know if this is true, but it has been said that they also used her credit cards and stole money from her itself. So to me, it came, like, from what has been said, it seems as though it was just basically like jealousy, because she was a successful salon owner at only like 21 or 22 years old. You know, the girl had done very well for herself. She was very popular. It really just seems like it was jealousy. And if you ask me, it seems like the whole thing was a plot. It seems like a setup.
For sure.
To me, like they all, but which is crazy to me, like to spend money to go to another country to basically off somebody and come back. Like, I don't know how they thought they were going to get rid of that or get away with that. But the whole thing is just a really disturbing case. But I hate when the learning lesson has to be that someone died. But I really hope that especially young women, like, take heed and just really vet your friends. But then again, like you said, it was someone she had been friends with for like 5 years. So it's like, dang, the people closest to you can be plotting on you. Like Judas, man, they set that girl up.
That's the thing too. It's just like, you think you know somebody after years of friendship, and then something like this happens. Not as drastic, not as extreme as what happened to Shaquilla in Mexico, but just like your friends being like here, and they're just setting to mess you up.
Yeah,
it's really shady. And I feel like these people are taking the opportunity to broadcast that too. Like there's some sort of, you know, glamour to it, to have like it's like a fantasy land, because they're filming it, and you know, and using people that they're in their lives as these characters. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of the sad part about social media, is that a lot of people don't, they will easily put people out there for their own entertainment. And that's really sad, you know? It's really sad knowing that happened, having my own daughter too. I can't even imagine that, you know, and I just think these girls have to stick together. There was guys there too, I know, but like it's just she was a very beautiful girl too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm assuming this, I don't know. I don't think they meant to kill her, if I'm being honest. I think it was like they probably meant to beat the shit out of her. I think that was it, but I don't think they meant to kill her. But I don't know. I don't know everything. It could be that, because I could see them just wanting to beat her up but not kill her, and then she ended up being killed. But,
which is like, okay, that happens, but it's like out of all the 6 friends there, not one person like, oh my god, is she moving? Can we call the ambulance? Can we call something? The second they all packed their bags and left, they meant to kill her.
And the thing that messed them up is like lying to her mom. Like one of the girls brought her luggage back to America, took it to her mother's house, and is smiling at her mom's face. Like, how evil do you have to be? Do you know how messed up that is? Like, you know what happened. You're laughing at her mom's face. Like, oh my God. Like the whole thing, honestly, I think this is one of those cases where as time goes on, we're gonna it's already bad, but we're gonna find out more, because I'm with you, Courtney. When I first heard it, I had to reread. I'm like, is this for real? Like, are you really, is this in modern day, people really thought they could get away with this? Or honestly, I don't know what they thought. I don't think they were thinking at all. But I agree with you as well, Shauna, that I'm sorry, Veronica, you might want to talk. I'm sorry, I don't mean to devo the time, but it just made me really emotional. Like, as being in the beauty industry, and it's just, the whole thing is just like, I know how hard people work to have their own. And again, to have it just taken away like that is for what? What are they going to get out of this? Prison?
And it's like success. It puts such a hamper on success. I mean, you want to be a successful person, but you have to pay this price for being successful. Like, what kind of world are we living in where that's happening? I think they were part of some sort of group. Maybe like it was an initiation, or there was a plot, or something. That's what I think. But I don't know. It's a bit too coincidental that all those things happened, and they could go back there so easily and lie about what happened. Like, that's not an easy thing to lie about. Even if you did take part in it and you didn't think that she was going to die, if that really did happen, you would be traumatized by that. You wouldn't be able to go back and lie about it like that. I don't think. That's why I think
agree.
They plotted it for sure.
You know what?
Sorry.
I feel like me as like the person I am, I could never ever lie about that. But there are people who are so messed up and they could lie about it. They could just, so that they wouldn't face anything. And I think they're so dumb that they thought because it's in Mexico, nothing's going to happen and they're going to lie about it. But the thing is, like, especially the video and whoever you sent it to or however it got out, excuse my language, you're dumbass. Sorry.
You're right.
Like, you're dumb.
Why would you send it out though if you didn't have some sort of glory behind what you were doing?
See, and I do want to play a little devil advocate, but it's just like, what if it was just the person reporting being like, I am scared, I don't want to die too, and this is the best I can do to help. So if I report it and then I put it on social media, it will be known.
That's also
like a guilt thing.
Yeah, like we could be like, okay, I'm so scared. I also don't want to die, so let me just record this and then post it somewhere later, and then they will hopefully get penalized. Because I did read a couple articles, and Mexico has a warrant out for all their arrests. And I believe the FBI is investigating it, but it's also, we don't know. Maybe one of the friends, maybe it was Shaquilla had a really good friend. She was just scared. But like, if I talk, they're going to beat me up too, and then we're both going to die, and no one's going to get caught for this.
That's also
it does sound like the plot of one of those movies where it's, in these types of situations, you see these movies where it probably is a mastermind. Like one person, like, okay, this is what's going to happen, but someone gets cold feet and they don't really want to do it. And that's probably who leaked the video. Because I was wondering about that too. Like, how did that video? We're glad that it got out there. Yeah. But I couldn't help but they're obviously not very good criminals. Like, they're, so.
Well, that's the thing. You know what? It might be that they did lie. I think they lied, and it was like one of those things where I lied, but I need to make it right and somehow. And that's why it got out. And they're just being like, I don't know how it got out, but it's like they did it. And I think it could have been one of those situations.
I think it's the other. I think they wanted their 15 minutes of fame. How many hits it's going to get, see how much, who they're going to sell the story to, how they can kind of save face after the fact. I don't know. I don't.
Their
I don't
names
like
are
any
going
of
to
it. I don't-
be plastered all over the place, famous in a
That is
negative
very
way.
possible. Some people
You
do
know
want
what?
infamy.
I did see. I don't know if it's true or not, but the main girl, I forget her name. Sorry, but she apparently was like, "If you pay me, I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you my side of the story." And I read that on, I think it was on TikTok. Someone said that she did that, and I was just kind of like, "So you know what? You might be right, Courtney. It might be like they just did that to get their 15 minutes of fame."
Yep. Hmm.
Which is again, so I assume everybody has watched the Jeffrey Dahmer actual documentary, not the show, but the documentary. And then I think they also had the Ted Bundy. And the one thing I can't stand about some of these serial killer documentaries, they're trying to make the serial killer personable. They're trying to help you identify and like this is a couple things why I couldn't watch any documentaries. Like they're sitting there and trying to make you feel really sorry for this person and what they went through and why this you can like identify them. And then I'm like, if you keep watching this a lot, is this also influencing these people to be like, oh, okay, it doesn't matter if I kill them because like they're gonna understand where I'm coming from, so I can like low key kind of get away with it or something, or make me feel better or more justified in doing this because like, yeah, they made fun of me, and my response was to kill them. So yeah, everybody's at, and it's like, do you guys think it's like one of those things?
I understand where you're coming from. I was a criminal justice minor in college, and one of my favorite classes, my favorite class in all of undergrad was serial killers. You too?
No, I just love that for you. I didn't know that about you. That's
Yeah.
Yes. Fun fact. I wanted my favorite. I'm a total nerd about this type of stuff, y'all. One of my favorite shows growing up was CSI. What's wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. But I've always loved crime. I know that sounds really weird, but I've always been really intrigued about criminal. Like, why do people commit crimes? Why do people do these heinous acts? And what you just said, Giselle, like I remember. I'm dating myself, but I remember living through Jeffrey Dahmer. Like when he got. I feel like I don't need to watch the movie and stuff because I remember in real time. I remember when he got caught. I remember, the trial and stuff. And I remember at the time, I was a kid, I didn't understand the gravity of it. But modern day, I'm like, dude, this dude was sick. Like these people are so sick. And the sad thing is, he is a lightweight in terms of serial killers. There's killers that have killed way, way, way more people than he has. Like, I don't know if y'all know about Samuel Little that turned like he revealed himself just a few years ago. I think it was like 2019. He admitted to killing like 90 women.
Yeah.
I think I have heard this.
Yeah, he like freely because he was already in jail and he finally was like, yeah, I did it. I killed like 90 women. Was bragging about it. And there's plenty of other killers too that have revealed that they killed a lot more. So to kind of go along with what you were saying, there is a certain sick, twisted mindset that they get off on the attention. They enjoy the infamy. A normal person is like, that's disgusting. You're sick. You're a monster. And they're like, exactly. Like it's sick. It's obviously a mental illness, but I think some people, they don't have remorse and they enjoy it, and it's not normal. Very sick.
Because I also watched a documentary on Night Stalker, and I think he was Latino or something, but he was a person of color, and they made him seem so sadistic and so evil, the demon. And then you got Jeffrey Dahmer, and he's just a little boy next door. He just made a mistake multiple times and then ate them. And it's just like, what? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what is this? Like, I think you're a serial killer. You should be painted the same way no matter what your race is.
Yeah, but that's the old tale, isn't it? Anybody person of color is a terrorist, a thug, anything like that. Yeah. And then everybody who's sorry to put race into it, but it's true. And like anyone who's right, it's a mental health issue. And so it's just it's the same thing. They're gonna do it in documentaries. They're gonna continue to do that, unfortunately.
Like, I really hope they actually figure out what happened, because there's too many cases where it's Black people and they just like have a little hype and then they forget about it. And I hope to God they keep continuing with Shaquila's case and keep like investigating it, because it's like, what the hell? Definitely. And I feel like Mexico will be on it, because they're going to be like, it's going to look bad, because who wants to go to Mexico now when you know you can be dead and nobody cares and you can be killed? So I feel like Mexico, they had better step their game up and keep doing it, because who's going to want to come to a Mexico resort now?
That's what I was going to say, because Cabo is one of their biggest tourist resorts. I think the pressure is on for them to get, and that's sad that has to be like, why couldn't it just be, we care about the girl that got killed? But I'm like, hey, a win is a win. I'll take what I can. If that's what it takes for them to investigate this girl's killer and get justice for her family, then it is what it is.
Yes. Any final thoughts on Shaquilla Robinson?
It'd just be interesting to know what the background of the
Yeah.
friends were. What what were they into? What were their just to kind of see where it's coming from.
I feel like one of them's gonna also be like a hairdresser and being like upset and jealous, but how can she get more clients and more notice and da da da? And I do hair too, and it's like probably because you don't do hair good.
More
Like,
is gonna come out. Like I can already hear NBC making a I can hear the movie executives. You know, Hollywood is good. Like this is gonna be a movie in a few years. It's gonna be a show. Like more is gonna come out about this story. And I feel like once Mexico gets a hold of these people, they're gonna start singing like a canary.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to go to prison anywhere, but I feel like you really, really don't want to go to prison in Mexico. I
know.
No. I've heard it's horrifying. So yeah.
It is. Well, condolences to the Robinson family. I hope you guys get the justice you deserve, and I hope the story comes to light. And may Shaquille rest in peace and rest in power.
Yes.
So just to lighten everything up a little bit after all this. So there is a rumor on social media and how J-Lo is going to do a tribute to Whitney Houston for the Grammys next year. And along with, I think, Britney Spears. What do y'all think? Yes.
Okay, now it's my turn to talk. Are you out of this world?
Nope. I think it was J-Lo posted it on one of her social media. So somebody said J-Lo is going to do a tribute. She's going to sing "I Will Always Love You" and some other song.
Okay.
And then there
I'm
was a
sorry,
Like,
but
I told you when I was a kid.
J-Lo isn't the one for that.
Where is Jennifer Hudson? Where is Deborah Cox?
Right?
Are they busy? Like what's happening?
Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera,
Remember
she
Jessie
does
J, who
Whitney
sang it for one of
amazing.
those shows, the competition thingy. She was saying, and I'm like, what about her, Jessie J? Like, what about like?
If you
They
want,
could
if you
have
want
even
someone-
gotten Dolly Parton, who wrote the song. Literally anybody.
Yeah,
Literally
yeah.
anybody.
You know who else would be really good?
This is me
Rihanna.
taking
I
a
think
step
Rihanna
back.
would do it really well. Rihanna has a song that sounds sort
We
of
all take a step
Whitney-ish,
back.
and she does it really well. I think Rihanna would do it really well because I mean Christina's done it already. Rihanna, I don't know. Rihanna could. I
don't
think
think
she
so.
could pull it off.
No.
But Christina did it amazing when she.
You
did
need
it.
someone who can hit those high notes. Christina,
Yeah.
100%.
Christina
Wasn't
is
there
like
there's this whole person, her name is Glenda something, and she devoted her singing career to singing Whitney Houston's covers because she sounded exactly like her.
I
Like,
know
she
who you're
was
talking
singing in
about.
the States.
that's
And I'm
amazing.
like, how come you can't get this girl?
Pull her in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I definitely
I
don't think Britney Spears either. She couldn't.
Oh,
pull
no.
it either.
Ew.
No.
But I love how
Sure,
her
I
reason,
don't-
like,
I
I
like
grew up,
Britney
and I know this
Spears,
could be
she's fine.
total fake news, but the post was from Britney being like, I grew up singing Whitney Houston, so I could do it. And I'm like, girl, I grew up singing Whitney Houston too.
No,
Doesn't mean I
ma'am.
can do it.
Legit. Giselle, get up there.
And like,
I
is J-Lo gonna dance to it? Like, is she gonna like do a dance routine to "I Will Always Love You"? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. I like J-Lo.
honestly-
She's good at what she does, but
Yeah.
just it's not Whitney.
Not.
Weird.
No.
I did read it was fake. It was a fake tweet,
Oh,
and
Good.
so
Good.
I'm hoping.
Like,
but I
thank
saw
you.
some tweets being like, J-Lo. So then why don't they get Ashanti and Amarie to do it for her since they sang all her songs?
That
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That part. Even Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
What about
Mariah
Brandy,
Carey
her
is-
whole ass adopted niece?
Mariah
Lisa-
Carey
Lisa
is
probably
one
do
of
it
Whitney
well, too.
Houston's last living contemporaries, if we're being real. Because a lot of her contemporaries are deceased. Like she's like the latter generation. I'm like, yeah, I saw that it was fake
Celine
too, but
Dion.
even just the audacity to insinuate such. It's like, don't play like that. Don't play with.
That's horrible.
That's true.
No, it's way off.
It's such an insult to Whitney.
It is.
I know, when I saw that, I had to
Like,
just
what?
sit down and walk away. I'm like, I can't today. Not today, Satan. Not today, cuz.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Christina does her so well though.
Yeah.
Christina, like
Yeah,
she,
I can see
She
that.
has
You
done a
want
Whitney strip.
Latino?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christina and
she has. I can't remember what awards it was. It was one of the awards.
you're right. It was a few
Yeah.
years ago. I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
And
still
she was
got it.
singing live. You could tell she was singing live. Like there's no lip syncing
Mhm.
there. She was like live TV doing her thing. Like she was.
No,
like,
man, Christina could sing. Man. She
Yeah.
She is.
amazing.
But I'm
Amazing.
I'm not gonna lie though, I kind of want to see J-Lo do it just to see what happened.
I want to see her bomb.
Remember when Fergie sang the anthem at some All-Star game? And they turned
Yes.
into like a hot remix after from somebody having the time today to do this?
Mm.
You guys not remember that? I'm like, I'm here for it. No, I'm here for this.
My
Yeah, I
gosh.
just grab some popcorn and watch. I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
let's see this train
It's
wreck.
Neil Bang, it's his own song again. Just so. It's amazing. And then I have one more question for y'all guys before we get out here. So I don't know if you guys know, Amazon has raised its subscription prices for its Prime membership. It's been raised up to 17%. So I know Canadian dollars used to be $89 a year, and now it's $111 and some change a year for Amazon Prime. And this is on the coattails of Jeff Bezos being like, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, save your money and don't buy the big ticket items because of inflation in the economy. And then Matt had the audacity to raise these prices. But we need to pay our employees more, and it's for delivery fees. I'm like, ain't this the same man who bought a whole ass ticket to space? Then you make like $6 billion, so you can't take $1 billion and give back to your employees who made you the billions in the first place. And I was like, Fox.
Yeah. He's definitely got enough that he can spare that.
And that's the thing here. It's like these big millionaires coming here and being like, oh, save your money, do this, do that. But let me gouge out some more money on some prices that you need. Like, let me just gouge on you. Because it's the same thing with, so remember how everybody, like, lettuce is getting really expensive?
Yeah.
And then apparently because there's a drought, they're not really growing as much and everything's happening. And again, it's like, so why isn't Jeff Bezos, like, giving some money to get something like a big-ass water tank to go water this lettuce so we can have some lettuce? Like,
did you know growing lettuce actually at home is very, very easy?
Yeah.
You can Google that just in case you guys really do want lettuce. It's actually quite easy. Yeah, try it.
Cool.
yeah, even most household, like even green onion, like most household products you have, you can keep regrowing it. Like if you buy it once and just keep regrowing
As
it.
I say, the lettuce can regrow, right? Yeah. Take a long time from a salad, but you know.
Yes.
Like David Fallon,
Get it eventually.
yeah.
Wait long.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
So I was also reading about the prices for food is going to keep going up until I think they were saying like early next year it should be going down, but right now it's going to get higher and higher. And it's like, what do you guys think about that? Like, do you think like, should we just stop eating anything fresh and just cans because it's on sale?
Mr. Noodles is 99 cents, and I actually some of them are 25 cents.
Mhm.
And it hasn't gone up in like a decade, so I think you're safe there.
Yeah,
We're going back to college days.
Going back
good
to
way to
college
read
days,
some good results, too.
exactly.
That's for sure.
Yeah, you know, I think it's the same old story, isn't it? Capitalism, like the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Like that's just kind of how it is. And I think maybe I personally am a little bit numb because it's the same thing. I think Jeff Bezos can go to space already and leave this earth. So that's kind of what I think about that. But yeah, I know in the UK it's insane right now. It's all over, like it's the cost of living. I know it's everywhere, but I know the UK is just like we're sinking right now. So yeah, everything's gone up. Energy, there's people who are like, I have to pick between, you know, feeding my kids and putting on the heat. You know, I saw one TikTok where it was like this British woman who's like, guys, my heating is broke, so I'm gonna go to the Savoy, which is like a 5-star hotel, and I'm gonna take advantage of their wonderful hot water. And then this woman in the next video, the woman's crying, being like, I don't know, I only have 15 pounds left on my meter, and I don't know if I should do it for electricity or gas, but I need the electricity to put on the gas. And it's just like, it's like things like that. It's like, and you know, I guess you just become numb, if I'm being honest. I'm just like, I can't even, otherwise I think I go crazy if I continue.
Do you guys see getting more worse?
Sammy, can you do the TikTok voice one more time? Because that was so entertaining.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I love it because it's so spot on. That's like 85% of TikToks start out like that.
It's so true.
It's true.
Yeah,
Sammy
it's
awesome TikToks, by the way. You do awesome TikToks, Sammy. I like watching.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
What is your TikTok, Samia? So we can follow you.
Yeah, it's Samia L. Jackson. There you go.
I love it. Is that your real name or is that just a play on words?
It's just a play. Yeah.
Okay, because it's hilarious.
Thank you. I went to comedy school, so actually I did. And one of my teachers was like, he just called me one day. He was like, "Oh, Samuel Jackson, you're next." And I was like, "Yeah, that goes. I like that."
Like that's it.
Cool.
But to answer your question, Giselle, I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
Are we? Yeah.
Probably, pretty much.
It's pretty sad.
I know. I just had one of the things be like, oh my god, it's gonna be like salt's gonna be $15. Watch.
Yeah.
It's bleak out here, y'all. It's bleak. I have to say, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little salty as in like elder millennial. I'm like, how in the world, out of all the millennia of history, how did we get to be so unfortunate to have not one but two recessions in our adult life? Like, come on,
Legit.
now. Come on now.
And a,
Like, I
and a
know there's worse
pandemic.
things that have happened in
A third
history.
is
I
coming.
get it.
Yeah.
You said a third is coming.
Yeah, I say.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was the third one. I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe it is. You know what? I'm so traumatized. Maybe it is the third. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's like, damn.
Anything could happen at this point, right?
It could.
Sure.
It really could. Just
Yeah.
try and take it day by day.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Oh my goodness. Any final thoughts for you guys before we wrap it on up?
Just send
Thank you.
lettuce. Send me
Yeah.
lettuce, people. Lettuce.
Yeah.
Investing packs. I don't know. Anyways. So if you want to go around to everybody thinks find you on social media before we get out of here. Go ahead, Sean. I'll just go around.
Oh, yeah, I'll start off. You can find me on Instagram at Shauna Brown Music 111 and my website, shaunamusic.com, and also Shauna Brown on all the other sites. And reach out to me. I'd love to hear people's thoughts. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Martina?
Hi. Sorry, I have a persistent 5-year-old in the background. I'm Martina, and you can follow me at Slam Host Martina. I'm normally talking about wrestling, but you can also find me here on the Blaze.
Nice.
Yes, go ahead, Veronica.
Yo, I don't know if I'm frozen on your screen, but this frozen on mine, I look hilarious.
You're not
You
frozen.
can
We
see
see,
him.
we
You're not
see
frozen.
we see
Oh,
you.
okay, good. Thank God. Okay, you guys can catch me on Instagram is where I am predominantly at V from the agency.
And
Nice.
Courtney.
You can find me at therenaissancemama.com is my website, and on Instagram at Courtney Mama.
Yes. Last but not least, Samia L. Jackson.
Hey guys. You guys can find me. You guys can find me on Instagram and on TikTok, Samia L. Jackson.
Sweet. Y'all can find me on Instagram at Giselle.Liu. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button, hit to the comments, tell us what you think, and remember, join the FEM movement.